I have a friend from college that lives just north of San Diego. He lives in a small town. I forgot the name, but I went to visit him recently. The downtown area has fallen on hard economic times. Most of the shops are closed up, out of business, but there's this one small street of shops that somehow managed to stay open. They seem to have seen this economic downturn coming a couple of decades ago and took steps to make sure they weren't harmed by the lack of customers. There's a small knick-knack shop, a palm reader, and a psychic. I guess because of their psychic skills, they were able to see the devastation coming and prepare in advance. I think some of them made some kind of deal with City Hall. I'm not sure exactly what happened. Nobody really knows. I've heard a couple of rumors. What they did was they bought their shops outright. They don't need to pay any rent. They also bought the land, but the deal they made with City Hall makes it so they don't have to pay any property taxes, which means they only really need to pay for is their water bill and their electric bill. And so long as they have enough savings, they don't really care if customers come in or not. But they did this like 20 years ago, knowing what was coming. I knew this guy in Japan whose dream was to open his own shop, to stop working for the big electronic company that he worked for, to save up his money so that he could buy a small shop. But in Japan, the shops are not quite the same as they are in the States. In Japan, it's very common for shopkeepers to not care if they have customers or not, because when they buy their shops, they own them outright and they don't need to pay property taxes. And the cities are zoned a little bit differently so they can have their shops on the ground floor and live in an apartment on the second floor. And it's very, very easy to do that. A lot of people in Japan have desires to open their shops that are different from the desires that Americans or Europeans have. They don't seem to have the entrepreneurial drive. At least some of these small shopkeepers don't have that entrepreneurial drive. They don't really have a big craving to create a lot of business and get a lot of customers and make a lot of money. They just want to buy a shop so they can escape the system and just kind of chill. I went to this one shop a long time ago. I didn't even know what kind of shop it was. I was just told by a friend of mine that I had to go there. And because I trust her very much, I decided to follow her advice. I walked in and there was nothing. No counters, nothing for sale, nothing on the walls, only some stairs going down to this basement. Had I not been recommended to go here by my friend, whom I trust very much, I would have fled, thinking maybe they would have killed me and stolen my liver. But since I do trust my friend, I decided to go down the steps to see what was down there. There was just an old woman sitting behind a table. She smiled and looked up at me and said, "I've been waiting for you," which didn't seem to bother me for some odd reason. I sat down across the table from her and she motioned for my left hand. I gave her my left hand and she put her right thumb in the middle of my left hand and closed her eyes and just held my hand. And I felt a sudden burst of very calming, very relaxing, very safe energy. It was the most relaxing, most wonderful energy I'd ever felt. I kind of closed my eyes halfway, wondering if this was exactly what I was getting, just this relaxing, strange energy from this old woman who hung out in this basement. A few minutes went by, and she opened her eyes and let go of my hand, and I felt really sad. It was like when you go to the barber and they give you a shampoo after they cut your hair. And some barbers tend to give a really good shampoo with a scalp massage, and you can just sit there and relax and enjoy the scalp massage. But then when they're finished, you kind of feel a little bit sad that it's over. That's how I felt. And then I asked her what I was supposed to do. And she said, "When you have a dream tonight, somebody will come to you. An entity will come to you in your dream. But you must cultivate a relationship with your dream entity. From now on, this entity will come to you and speak to you in your dreams. At first, you won't really remember, so you will have to wake up and write down whatever happened. You need to get in the habit of writing down your dreams every morning. The more you do this, the more you will cultivate that relationship with your dream entity. The stronger you cultivate your relationship with your dream entity, the more information your dream entity will give you, the more insights they will give you, the more profitable insights they will give you. The longer you keep this relationship alive with your dream entity, the more you can learn things that other people don't know, learn things that other people are incapable of understanding, learn things that will help you do things that other people are incapable of doing. I used to buy ibuprofen from this guy in Taiwan. Whenever I would go into his shop, he would always be relaxing in the back, laying on this bed, watching TV with a fan pointed at him. He had all these glass bottles filled up with all these different kinds of drugs. I would buy my ibuprofen. He would wrap them up in a piece of paper into an envelope and then go back in the back and lay back on his bed. That's what he did. That's his shop. He didn't seem to mind if he had customers. He didn't seem to mind if he didn't have customers. One guy on that street didn't sell anything. I went walking in, I saw the psychic, I saw the knick-knack seller, I saw the palm reader, but this one guy didn't sell anything. He just had a shop. He would go there in the morning, read the paper, and then go home at night. And he kind of had this kind of go through the motions idea of getting up, going to work, sitting at work, reading the paper, and then going home at night. He just felt comfortable going to a different place every day instead of staying at home all day. That was the reason he had for keeping his shop open. Most businesses in America are built on debt. People borrow money, and so long as they have a consistent stream of customers and they make enough profit to pay their debt off every month, they're in good shape. But if their customers drop off just a little bit, they can't pay their debt and they go out of business. But if you can buy your business outright, if you can save your money, you don't care if you have customers or not. And if you have enough money saved up to pay the electric bill, you can just relax in your shop and not worry about anything.